Princess Beatrice has been linked to controversy in recent years, and it's not even because of anything she did, it's because of who her father is. One of the royal family's biggest PR disasters to date has arguably been Prince Andrew's controversial friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Beatrice has never publicly commented on her father's relationship with Epstein, nor has she said anything about the allegations of sexual assault against him, but she was there by his side during a meeting ahead of his infamous BBC Newsnight interview. As Newsnight producer Sam McAllister told People, Beatrice's presence was a curveball. So, to have prepared to do this incredibly important negotiation and then have to do it on these sensitive and difficult subjects in front of his young daughter really was taking an already extraordinary experience to the next level, he said. Hello and welcome to Royal Scandal. Please do well to like, subscribe, comment and turn on the notification bell so as not to miss out on any news updates. Beatrice, who has a royal title but isn't a working member of the firm, is a familiar face. She often attends royal events and knows people in high places. Her mother, Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, is no longer a working royal either, thanks to her divorce from Prince Andrew. Beatrice has a younger sister, Princess Eugenie, who is also a private citizen. Even though Beatrice is pretty much used to getting the royal treatment, life doesn't make exceptions, and she's had to navigate plenty of tragedies, obstacles, and heartbreak over the years. Number 1. She struggled in school when she was young. As a kid, Princess Beatrice struggled to keep up in school. On an episode of the Lessons in Dyslexic Thinking podcast, she reflected on one particular moment where things just weren't clicking. I remember trying to do extra lessons with teachers and just sort of blankly staring up at her face, and she was like, "Why are you looking at me? The words are not on my face," and I said, "Well, they're not on the page either," she said. At 7 years old, the royal was diagnosed with dyslexia, and it changed her school experience for the better. I think it was quite an empowering thing actually, between the age of 7 and 11, really figuring out what you could and couldn't do, she shared in a Zoom interview with Hello! Magazine. She also noted that her teachers were supportive and made helpful accommodations. "I'm very lucky that I had some fantastic teachers," she said. As an adult, Beatrice continues to use her royal platform to not only spread awareness about dyslexia, but talk about common misconceptions about the neurodivergent condition. "Dyslexia is not a pigeonhole to say you can't do anything," she once said during a speech for the Helen Arkell Dyslexia charity. "It is an opportunity and a possibility to learn differently. Dyslexics have magical brains, they just process differently." Number 2. Her parents' divorce was widely publicized. Princess Beatrice was only 8 years old when her parents divorced in 1998. Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, first went their separate ways in 1992. Sarah later hinted in an interview with Harper's Bazaar that their marital troubles began when Beatrice was born and Andrew was away on military duty. "I spent my entire first pregnancy alone. When Beatrice was born, Andrew got 10 days of shore leave," she recalled. In the wake of the divorce, Beatrice found herself towing the line between being just a regular Jane and a member of the royal family. When she was with her mom, Beatrice could let her inner wild child run free, but once she was back at the palace, she had to remember to behave like a princess. Royal author Tom Quinn told Express that Beatrice and her sister had to navigate a split world. The press attention Beatrice's parents received didn't make things any easier. When photos of American financier John Bryan kissing a topless Fergie's feet surfaced, the drama reached fever pitch. The pictures sparked a media circus, and there were rumors about the palace supposedly trying to get full custody of Beatrice and her sister. Andrew and Sarah eventually agreed to co-parent. Number 3. She dated a convict in her teens. When Princess Beatrice was 17, Beatrice dated Paolo Liuzzo, who was a convicted felon with an assault and battery charge on his record. Naturally, the press went wild when it came to light that Beatrice was dating a guy with a criminal history. They dug into Liuzzo's life and found that he'd originally faced charges for manslaughter for his involvement in beating a fellow college student to death. Suffice it to say, he didn't exactly seem like a fit for a princess. Surprisingly, however, Beatrice's parents showed support for the relationship. Her mother, Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, made a public statement to say that she trusted her daughter's instincts and decisions. She and Prince Andrew even invited Liuzzo on a skiing trip in the French Alps. It turned out that this trip violated the terms of Liuzzo's probation, and he almost found himself behind bars after the incident. Shortly after, news broke that Beatrice had broken up with Liuzzo, and the drama came to an abrupt end. Number 4. Her first big love never asked her to marry him. After getting plenty of press attention for dating a convicted felon, Princess Beatrice moved on to a man with better prospects who went by the name of Dave Clark. The two dated for 10 years, and Beatrice eventually moved to New York City to be with him after he landed a job there. But it all turned out to be for nothing. In 2016, the couple found themselves in a bit of a predicament. They'd been dating for a decade and yet haven't made any plans to get married. Beatrice was reportedly eager for Clark to propose, so when he didn't get around to it after 10 long years, she gave him an ultimatum: either he got down on one knee, or the relationship was over. In a shocking turn of events, Clark did not bend the knee. Sources told the Daily Beast that Prince William and some other unnamed members of the royal family's dislike of Clark might have been a contributing factor. The worst part for Beatrice must have been when news broke that her former beau had proposed to someone else barely a year after they called it quits. Clark got married in 2018, and Beatrice was notably absent from the wedding, despite initially saying that she was happy for the couple. Number 5. Her looks have been criticized. When you're in the public eye, it's inevitable that someone will say something nasty about your looks. Just ask Princess Beatrice. She might be a royal, but that doesn't mean she always gets the royal treatment. It might be safe to say that Beatrice has been self-conscious about her looks from a young age. According to some reports, her mother, Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, put Beatrice on a diet when she was only 8 years old. During this time, Sarah told journalists, "I think overeating sort of runs in the family." Sarah, whom the press at one time dubbed the Duchess of Pork, partnered with Weight Watchers after her divorce from Prince Andrew. Of course, Princess Beatrice is no stranger to having her looks and fashion choices analyzed and critiqued, and she was really put through the ringer after Prince William's wedding. The elaborate fascinator Beatrice wore to the event was quickly torn apart by the press and pundits alike. The headpiece, which was dubbed the pretzel hat, generated a lot of cruel headlines and criticism. Understandably, this affected Beatrice. In a 2018 interview with Vogue UK, Princess Eugenie shared that her sisters had a hard time with the negative attention she's received over the years. There was a horrible article that had been written about Beatrice and she got really upset. "We were just about to step out and she had a bit of a wobble and cried," she said. Number 6. The palace reportedly isn't happy about her bond with Prince Harry. Prince Harry's royal rift has had quite the impact on Princess Beatrice. Beatrice and her sister, Princess Eugenie, have remained close with the estranged prince, and apparently the rest of the royal family isn't too pleased with the cousins' dynamic. Royal experts question whether Beatrice can be trusted not to spill royal secrets to Harry, who in turn might put it in his next book or Netflix docuseries. Beatrice is very stable, but I think the royal family wonder what Beatrice and Princess Eugenie will pass on to Harry, royal expert Angela Levin said during an interview with GB News. They don't want to give them information to potentially pass on. There have been reports that Prince William is keeping his distance from Beatrice and Eugenie because he doesn't know whether he can trust them not to share the monarchy's affairs with Harry. For William, it's a question of loyalty. As Beatrice and Eugenie have got closer to Harry, William has decided to keep them very much at arm's length, royal expert Tom Quinn told the Mirror. Beatrice and Eugenie are moving across to what one Kensington Palace official described as the dark side, he added. Number 7. She hasn't been allowed to carry out any official royal duties. Amid King Charles III's cancer health crisis, reports were swirling that Princess Beatrice was eager to take on some royal duties to lighten the load. However, according to insiders, hell would freeze over before that becomes a reality. Being a part-time working royal is not an option, a precedent Queen Elizabeth II set when she refused to have Prince Harry and Meghan Markle divide their time between the monarchy and their personal endeavors. Since Beatrice has never been a working royal and has built a career for herself, She doesn't meet the criteria to become a working member of the royal family, despite the institution being severely short-handed. This rejection has been quite painful, according to a friend of Beatrice's who spoke to the Daily Beast. It seems mean that the girls, Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, aren't being used at all when they have made it clear they want to be of service, the friend said. They are very upset to have been ignored by the king as they feel they have a lot to offer, but ultimately not surprised. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.